leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, was wounded during that operation about 2 hours from Guadalajara, and he later died while he was being flown to Mexico City. And this is a very powerful cartel there in Mexico. The leader now killed by the Mexican army, according to the Defense Department there. For more on this story, let's bring in Chris Dalby. He is an investigative journalist and author of CJNG, a guide to Mexico's deadliest cartel. Thank you so much for being here, Chris.
It's an absolute pleasure, Shauna. Thank you for having me.
So you actually wrote a book about this particular cartel, the CJNG. The Associated Press calls it the most powerful cartel in Mexico. The U.S. Deputy Secretary of State described the leader as one of the most ruthless drug kingpins in the world. Can you tell us more about this?
Absolutely. If you've heard about the worst of Mexican cartel violence, you know, the most abhorrent acts, the bodies, the decapitated corpses, the videos, a lot of that begins with the CJNG. El Mencho is one of the most influential drug kingpins in the last 30 years. I would put him at the same level as Pablo Escobar and El Chapo when it comes.
Wow. They put him at the level of Pablo Escobar and El Chapo.
To the quantity of drugs that his organization has moved in Mexico, in the United States, and further abroad. He is directly and indirectly responsible for the deaths of thousands of people in Mexico and through drugs in the United States. The problem is that while he absolutely deserved to face justice, removing him removes the man who kept the CJNG united. And while the CJNG is extremely violent, by far the most violent cartel in Mexico, removing him will likely lead to 5 or 6 of his lieutenants turning on each other and ramping up the level of violence to perhaps record levels in Mexico to control the CJNG empire.
So that's kind of interesting. So look like, you know, it's like the if you guys care about geopolitics, a lot of times we'll see like a shithole country like Afghanistan, Iraq, or some dumb shit, and we're like, yo, let's get all the bullshit niggas out of there. And it's like, all right, you got them out of there, but here's the thing: there's other people who were either under that regime or whatever that are gonna eventually replace him, but it's gonna be worse and even better because when you fracture a big organization, people have to squabble it out to get power, to be the next guy. So what are you going to do? Now, when it comes to a drug organizations versus the government, it's different. The U.S. is trying to install a government or approve a government in Venezuela. You're not going to approve the next drug dealer. So you're going to just kind of leave saying job done. And then everybody else who was in some type of position of power, they're going to have to squabble it out. And that's going to be a lot of violence.
And that's exactly what I was going to ask you. Now that he's dead, what does that mean for this operation? Who takes the lead? And will there be maybe more retaliation from the cartel now that this has happened?
You know, President Trump has rightly designated Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations. And El Mencho had a bounty on his head of $50 million.
Oh, that was another thing. So President Trump designates he designated a bunch of cartels, and you can see this is the White House on January 2025. Remember, this is before is this before Maduro or after? But he designates a bunch of cartel organizations and foreign terrorist organizations. Look, let's see the ones he designated. It says that a cartel. Oh, hold on, and all we got to do is kind of Google it. Okay, I don't think he names it unless maybe I'm tripping. But essentially, he did designate cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, okay? Which basically gave the authority to give me a second. Which gave the authority that they could treat them like they could bomb their ass. You feel me? Like it was on some other shit. So basically, once you've designated an organization as a a foreign terrorist organization, you could do whatever to them. You know what I mean? You could drop a bomb on them. You could spy on them. Like, they don't even got no rights. Fuck them. Like, that's basically what it is. So, look, they did MS-13. It said Sinaloa Cartel. And then right here, they designated the CJNG, which is the Cartel Jalisco New Generation. Says a transnational organization with a presence in nearly every part of Mexico. In addition to trafficking fentanyl, the group engages in extortion, migrant smuggling, oil and mineral theft, as well as weapons trade. The group has contacts across the Americas as well in Australia, China, and Southeast Asia. They have conducted intimidating acts of violence, including the attacks on Mexican police and military with military weapon grade, the use of drones to drop explosives on Mexican law enforcement, assassinations or attempts. Okay. So they classified not only the Sinaloa cartel, which how many of them still exist, but CJNG, that's the hot group. And I think Mexico took note of this, right? Mexico took note of this, and I'm telling you, Mexico been folding like a lawn chair. They know what type of time Trump is on, and they're down to give Trump what they want. You know why? Mexico is scared that we do to Mexico what we did to Venezuela. And I know some people will be like, oh, that will never happen. Bro, if you think Mexico don't, like, we kind of let them do their thing, but, like, if we want a nigga out of Mexico, we're getting that nigga out of Mexico, man. Like, Mexico ain't on shit. Like, they're not telling us nothing. Seriously. So, again, that's kind of what happened, all right? Anyway, not to kind of drag it here. All right, so he dies. Let me play you some of the after effects of what's happened since he died, okay? Just watch this. There's a lot of violence. So they're burning up buses. They're doing a lot. Let me see.
We begin with breaking news.
Across much of the
From the U.S.
A beautiful, wonderful Puerto Vallarta.
Flights to Mexico, her balcony.
Multiple fires popping up from different directions.
Sorry.
As Americans who are already there are being warned to shelter in place.
I'm devastated, scared, and then we don't know if we're going to make it out of here.
Calling Fox 10 from Guadalajara, Mexico, Salida Ponce from Maricopa says she's terrified.
It's just like a war, like, oh my God, the attacks were horrible.
A day of violence erupting in Mexico after a military operation led to the death of a cartel leader. Now parts of the country under attack. As flights are canceled, streets are closed, and tourists told to shelter in place.
The vibes changed really fast, right? Yesterday was a beautiful, wonderful Puerto Vallarta vacation day. And then today just feels very eerie and very like vacant looks from the staff, like asking them if their families are okay, just trying to figure out how do we get out of here and are we safe here?
Melissa Selvi, an Arizonan sheltering in place at her resort in Mexico, shares photos with us from her balcony.
Multiple fires popping up from different directions and then seeing kind of the look on the staff and the unknowns from the people trying to catch a cab to the airport, trying to sort through fact and fiction.
All right, Shorty, I ain't trying to hear you. I'm trying to see the bullshit because they was getting to it.
We begin with break.
Before we actually landed, so.
There's just not a lot.
Nah, I ain't trying to see Shorty no more. Let's get to the chaos.
And we do.
Here we go.
Jalisco, the base for the cartel, which is known for trafficking huge quantities of fentanyl and other drugs into the United States. Mencho was wounded in an operation to capture him and died from his injuries while he was being flown to Mexico City.
And we are getting new video of the response from the cartel. Violent clashes, cars being set on fire, blocking streets. School is now canceled tomorrow in several states.
Now, I want to point this out to y'all. Yo, the reality is this, man. Yo, the cartels, yeah, they do their thing and everything. But this is why, remember, Mexico does not want to get treated like Venezuela. We are dick slapping Venezuela around, right? Have we heard anybody wilding out too crazy in Venezuela? No, because we'll go over there and drop 15 bombs. We don't give two fucks about them niggas. You feel what I'm saying? If we acted that way with Mexico, we would have cleaned the cartels up in 55 minutes, straight up. Real talk. Like, get them niggas out of here. They be hiding in trees and shit like that. But the Mexican government, they claim they got it, so we let them do their thing. Listen, man, you send 45 ICE niggas over there, man, that shit's a wrap. Facts. You know what I mean? So, like, when we be watching this shit, it's because them niggas ain't really like that. You get what I'm saying? So the U.S. is watching it. It ain't our country, so we like, all right, man, at least we got the nigga we wanted. But y'all good? Mexico is they're coping. They're like, nah, we good. We don't. You like, you sure you don't need us? Yo, we'll fuck all them niggas up for you. They claim they don't need us. So when you watching all this bullshit happening in Mexico, if they said, yo, if the government just admitted we pussy, we not like that, U.S. come take care of these niggas, we'll clean up the whole fucking Mexico, but we will look at them as basically a bunch of hoes. You know what I mean? So they're not trying to do it.
And the State Department has issued a shelter-in-place warning for U.S. citizens. We have live team coverage of the response.
Put it like this. With all due respect, all this El Mencho and all this other fuck shit, let them go attack, like, I don't know where the U.S. like tourists are at. Let them go like fucking do all this fuck shit at the U.S. embassy. Nigga, they go to the U.S. embassy and let like 15 people get hurt. Nigga, we fucked the whole country up. So all this shit they doing it like with buses that nobody, like, we don't know what's going on over there. We don't care. But if they was really on timing, like they really think they like that, let they ass go. Yo, there's a U.S. embassy over there. Now, granted, you know, the U.S. embassy is probably on lockdown, but all this bullshit you're seeing, here's a fun fact that they're going to ignore. Nigga, the reason why El Mencho died, the U.S. killed that nigga. Straight up. The U.S. like sanctioned this shit. The Mexican government only did it because the U.S. is putting pressure.